Can we talk about the title card joke this episode? Like, oh my days, this was absolutely brilliant and had me rolling. Also, fun fact, the reason the title cards are glitching this episode is all because of all the marks present in our reality. So, we're seeing their own title cards with all manners of different colors. But anyways, episode 6 we saw a throwback to the Chicago incident and everything that took place there. We got to see a skewed view of what happened between Omni-Man and Mark. From an outsider's point of view, it didn't seem like a fight per se, but just pure destruction. The speed that these guys fought at, no human witness would have seen what we saw when watching that scene. We also got to see a major theme of revenge, grief, and the consequences of actions, not forgetting the question of who holds these heroes accountable for their mistakes while fighting. But the twist is that Powerplex is the most knowledgeable victim of the Chicago incident, with the literal proof of how Mark got caved in by his dad, seeing Anisha push this guy to the point of going unconscious. Yet with all this, he's so blinded by anger and pain that he continues to blame Invincible for all the deaths, which is a theme I absolutely adore. Also this episode, we got an ending that literally makes me want to curl up because I'm so scared for our boy Mark. So without further ado, let's talk about the ending and also cover everything else that happened this episode. So Armstrong Levi is back. His head is slightly smaller, probably lost a few brain cells during that fight with Mark. So now we see him with a different eye and a giant scar on his head, showing that whoever put him back together has incredible technology at their disposal. But not only did he come back, but he also brought back all the Marks that hurt the hundreds of versions of himself in other realities to hurt the one good Mark. So much for not building an empire with blood. So far, I've seen Sinister Mark, who was shown in one of the season 2 episodes, who by the way is genuinely insane. The fact that he broke off a roof just to get one of the Angstrom variant's kids. He might also be a cannibal, if I'm not wrong. Don't come after me if I'm wrong. Then we have Viltrumite Mark and a bunch of other Marks. So episode 7 will very likely be the beginning of the Invincible War, and judging by the description we see for episode 7 that says, the heroes of Earth gather to fight an unimaginable threat. Also, did you pick up on the fact that one of Scott's co-workers mentioned Mark as the only weapon against other Viltrumites? I love how many Easter eggs they leave for us to find, and it's really cool. So based exclusively on what the episode's descriptions say, we can assume that the Invincible War will only span for episode 7. So from beginning to end, it will literally be relentless action and fighting so that they can cram all that has to happen in there. Plus there will also be a major death. I won't say who, but I'll give you a hint. My skeleton. For those who know, it's that time. For those who don't, you'll find out soon enough. This is by far my favorite character of this season because he represents how revenge can blind someone to the point that they literally turn into the very thing they swore to destroy. The fact that Scott by the end was yet to see his mistakes and properly process his pain shows just how much he let the idea of revenge get to his head. Also the fact that he lost his family twice in the same building and area really just shows how careless he was. Additionally, his dedication to getting Invincible's attention was well executed. We truly saw him lose himself every step of the way, from jumping off a building with barely any thought to it, to fighting a superhero and eventually terrorizing the very same victims he's on the same boat as. As he stood there, I felt as if the contrast between the black and red was symbolic, in the way that he was both dead inside and was going to shed blood, but also there was no way back for him. They also managed to tease the fact that Scott was going to eventually kill someone. From jumping off the building alone, we see how bad that could have been if he landed on a car or person. Then when he did finally lose control, we see that he managed to, well, cook his own family and destroy his life even more in a pursuit for revenge. That is why Powerplex is simply one of my favorite characters in the entire show, because we don't feel separated from him, but we relate to him. Because from the beginning, we see him seeking justice. We see him going the normal route, the human route. I love the dynamic that Paul had between the family and welcoming Paul in as a complete outsider. He talks about having to deal with the struggles of not having powers and relating to Mark and Oliver. Then we get to see Debbie reassure Paul and show him that it isn't about relating to them, but showing up, because he doesn't have to be a dad to them, but more like a mentor of sorts. Monster Girl and Rudy had a moment this episode too. Since the very beginning of the show, Monster Girl has been under a curse that makes her younger with every single transformation. So obviously, over time she has managed to become significantly younger than when the show started. So we finally saw Rudy put an end to that curse and let her grow together with him at a natural age. Wow, so cute. How many girlfriends, how many boyfriends would do that for their girlfriends? I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, Mark. Look at you, Paul. I'm looking at you, Oliver. Joshua. All of you guys. Come on, take a note from Rudy, bro. Yeah. So that's about it for me. Can't wait for episode 7. If you want to see something about Severance, you know Severance is a crazy show. Yeah. Pull up.